to have you guys. Vija had to scoot to a different market center to join us today. So she was like a speed demon to get there to be with us on time, and she did it. So we're thrilled to have you. And I just want to give the floor to you, Vija, and take it away because everyone's dying to hear what you want to share with us.
Well, thank you so much. And also what ended up happening is I pulled into a market center, another one. So I was on my way to one of our market centers because I have a meeting, 2 meetings after this, and I couldn't make it on time. So I went I got off the freeway and went to another one. All right. So I'm going to actually put this on gallery view because I don't need to see myself. Here we go. Here we go. How is everybody, first of all? And I guess, you know, before we dive in, I'd love everybody to just get in chat and tell me how you have gotten your last 2 pieces of business, maybe. Just pick, you know, your last couple of pieces of business. I'm curious how you guys have gotten them. And I want to kind of get a feel for what's going on over there in Connecticut. Repeated clients. Yep. Sphere. Yep. Personal referral. Okay. Sphere referral. Okay. Great. Who here, and you can put it in chat, who here has a, you know, a written goal for the year for how many units you want to do? I'm seeing a raise of hands. You can either chat, raise hands. Okay. All right. How many of you who have a written goal are tracking? We just finished 30% of the year, but you probably need more than that in contract. So how many of you are at a, you know, pending and sold, in contract and sold at about 40-45% so far this year, which is freaky, by the way. Yes. Okay. Mike and Kim are tracking. Okay. Who else is tracking? Linda, Marvin. Good, you guys. That's fantastic. Like everybody's tracking. Okay, forget it. Bye. Okay, good. Just kidding. That's amazing. All right, cool. Well, we're gonna have fun today. I don't remember if I introduced myself last time I was on. So my name's Vija Williams, and that's where we should probably start. It's pronounced Vija. I know it looks weird because it's Vija, but the J is like, have you ever seen Tonya with a J? Maybe there's a Tonya in here that I can't see. It's a Scandinavian name actually. And so the Vija is like it's like a Y. I am in Seattle, Washington, and I'm the director of growth for Ben Kinney Companies, which is a really fancy way of saying I'm the general manager. So I help lead 8 Keller Williams offices in Western Washington, from Bellingham all the way down to Olympia. We have about 1,650 agents there. I have my own team, and at this point, it's kind of a boutique team because I have a full-time job. I'm also involved in mortgage title and escrow for Ben Kinney Companies, and I help with place. So before we get started, I just wanted to kind of, and I share my screen, I just wanted to be sure that you guys are aware of who in the world is talking to you today. Okay, let me go to my screen share here. Strangely, on my screen. There you go.
Hey, Vija, could you tell everybody about Place just for a second too?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And can you make me a co-host or something so I can share my screen while we're doing that? So have any of you guys, you don't have to raise your hands, but I'm asking a rhetorical question. If any of you guys thought about what it would be like to not do this alone, and especially if you're growing a team, if any of you guys thought about what it would be like to partner with some of the most amazing people in the nation, Ben Kinney, Chris Suarez, me, I know, but Ben and Chris, and just a whole bunch of incredible people. If you have, you should ping me and we should talk about Place. So Place is our expansion network. It used to be Ben Kinney team and then Chris Suarez experience team, and they merged. And it's just, you're going to start seeing it more and more being branded as Place now. We have some very, very exciting news that I don't know when they're going to announce it in the next week or two. And it's growing like gangbusters. We have over 65 teams around the nation, and you could be one of them. A very good candidate for us is someone doing over 20 or 30 million already, who feels like they've hit a ceiling and feels like having a CFO and a whole back end system, so that you could just kind of focus on doing deals, hiring agents, and kind of growing your revenue. Then we're good. We're a good, what am I trying to say, team to think about, right? So you can keep your branding of your current team. We come alongside you and really power your back end, right? It's not designed for part-time. I mean, this is this is your job. This is your full-time job. If you're growing your team and growing your business, and you want to be surrounded, almost every single place person in the last 2 years has at least doubled their business. I don't think anyone hasn't. The typical, place person is doing between 500 and $1 million in GCI, and within 2 years they're at 2.5 million. It's very fast growth, and it just happens because there's a huge team and kind of an army behind you, right? We have 200 to 300 employees now in Bellingham. We have 1.5 floors of a building. It's probably bigger than you think. And we're growing like wildfire. So it's really exciting. And you stay in your market. I mean, we're Keller Williams, and born and bred, so to speak. And so most of our teams, almost all of our teams, are Keller Williams. We are starting to branch off now, though. We have a couple markets that don't have Keller Williams in them, for instance. And so we have some teams that aren't Keller Williams.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that part of it, Vija.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, should people reach out to you directly? Of course they can, but maybe
Yeah.
talk to Dan and I too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. All right. And I have my contact information on the slides that I'm about to share. Oh, you're sharing sound, and I cannot share while you are sharing sound. There you go.
Sorry, you're right. Go for it.
All sorts of fun stuff this morning, right? All right. So this is my contact information. I'm a really great texter. So if you want to program that in, feel free to. I'm as long as I'm not in an appointment or in a meeting or anything, I'm a super fast texter. You can also email me as well. Happy to talk to you about it. All right. So one of the things that I do for my job is I do webinars every single week, and we do them at Wednesdays at noon. I definitely recommend them. I'm biased, but I think they're some of the best training out there, because I take some of the top agents around the nation and I interview them on what they're doing really well. So you can sign up for that at benkinneyagenttraining.com. And you can get on our mailing list, register for our next one, which is tomorrow, on open houses. And they're very tactical. And what I started realizing and learning is I've done like 40 in the last year. I think it's been like 45 actually. And I started realizing that, I know a lot now, because I've been, meeting with these incredible agents on these really specific topics, like, home buyer seminars, home seller seminars. Some of what we're going to go over today is the golden text and the golden letter, how to win in multiple offers. I just realized that when you interview and teach something over and over again, you just learn a thing or two. So one of the things, and I also can start see patterns and themes. And so one of the things that I've been noticing a lot is that I don't think people are focusing on or is intentional about getting business from their current business. And to me, after 45 webinars, that's probably what I've learned the most, which should tell you something. If that's what I'm doing all the time and that's what I'm picking up from it, I think that's worthy of knowing, right? So I really think that every single one of you here, especially because a lot of you guys have a written unit goal and you're already pacing, which means you're already getting listings. I'm going to walk you through how I think you can double the business you have by the end of the year. So if your goal was, 30 homes that you were going to sell, and if you're on pace, I think we can get you to 45 because I'm thinking if you have 15 left, I can double that 15, right? So let me know and keep me posted this year, but I really mean it. All the things that everyone's been telling me, I really think you can double it. So one thing that you're probably not doing that you need to do is, and we talked about this a little bit as a teaser when I was there in the morning, is getting more business from the business you have by choosing to get a certain amount of business for every listing you have. So the first thing I want to tell you is you need to set a leads from listing goal. If you're writing anything down, this is what I want you to write down. I want you to decide right now what your goal is. Do you want to get one piece of business for every listing you have? Do you want to get two pieces of business or three? I'm going to teach to two. I truly believe you can get a buyer and a seller, if not three pieces of business from every listing you have. That's the best leverage point you have, you guys. Taking a listing and bilking it for like taking that sponge and squeezing it so dry. That's what we're going to learn to do today. That's my goal. Every single listing you have, I truly believe you guys can get two pieces of business from it. Does someone want to say something and add anything? I thought I heard something, but I'm not sure. That's the one thing with Zoom, everyone's muted, which is good, but then, I can't hear you. So feel free to unmute and jump in and ask questions. All right. So if you see this pie, this is what we're gonna base it after today. We are gonna go through a bunch of content, and then I'll get through the content, and then you can ask me all the questions you want, right? And you can interrupt me if you want to. We're gonna go over 6 things today. Internet, different other listing lead sources like sign calls and stuff, direct mail, prospecting, open houses, and Sphere. And we're gonna talk about the spin is how can you get business from all of these sources using listings, using a listing you already have, right? And so I want you to think about your listing, right, is the center of this circle. Okay, so the listing's the center of the circle, and from that, we're gonna use the internet to get leads from it. We're gonna use Sphere to get listings from it. Does that make sense? Everything we do is gonna be around that listing. Make sense? All right. I feel like I'm talking to myself when no one. I think you guys have to unmute every once in a while. Say yes or no, just so I know. Okay.
Yes, yes.
There are plenty of people who aren't shy. They'll do it.
Good. It's like a little feedback, right? All right. Okay, let's start here. You have to have tech, right? Whether it's command, whether it's obviously unbiased, it's going to be Brivity. If for those of you who don't know, Ben Cuny Companies, we own Brivity. It works very well with command, I will say. And in command, it doesn't matter. Here's the deal, you guys. You are not capable of doing this without tech, okay? You have to have some kind of automation for everything we're going to talk about and for your business. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be, you have to have some level of automation because one human can't possibly start managing cumulative leads. Can I hear an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
I'm like, okay, yeah.
Amen.
It's just not possible. It's just not possible. So you need to just own the fact that you need a basic CRM, whatever brand, whatever it is, and that you need to, learn how to do some auto plans that are triggered by certain events. That's it. It's not complicated. If I can figure it out, you can too. All right. So why don't listing leads get closed? Has anyone ever heard the term speed to lead? Because we're going to talk about that a lot today. Because we don't communicate fast enough. Here's the deal, new agents. This is for all you new agents out there. I have really great news for you. Your skill set doesn't matter. You know what matters? If you're there first. Speed to lead is everything in real estate lead generation. So that should be hopeful to you. It's not about your skill set. You don't have to be a script ninja. I mean, you want to be a script ninja, but let's pretend you're not yet. You just have to get there fast enough, right? Statistically speaking, if you're the first one in, you have the highest chance. And you need to be very, very focused on the outcome, which we'll go into. Number two, we stop communicating. The gold is in the follow-up, honestly. And my team leaders, my really successful team leaders, if you're recruiting for your teams too, the same things with recruiting. It is in the follow-up. It's not always that first contact. The average lead finally gets back and forth, you get in a rapport with them on 7 contacts. When do agents give up? After how many contacts? 3, if even 3, really usually 1 or 2, right? And the average lead is reached on the 7th contact. So there you go. Number 3, we don't look for buy signs. We're going to talk about that at during our open house segment. We send spam. We'll talk about that. I have become adept at sending items of value. I think in the past I was inadvertently sending spam, so we'll talk about that. You don't want to do that. They don't want our recipes. They don't. They don't want our recipes. I'm sorry, I like to cook too. They don't want our recipes. So we have to send them stuff that's of value. Number 5, we're challenged building rapport on the phone. And then number 6, we focus on the wrong sources. And I can share this slide deck with you when we're done. Same thing with your team. Your team is either not getting there fast enough, they're saying the wrong things, they're not actually doing the activities. You actually are giving them too many leads, and we'll talk about that. You can get too many leads. I mean, you just get watered down, and no one lead is getting the attention it deserves once somebody has too much. They're only emailing, they're not phone calling and texting them. You're not getting into your CRM or eavesdropping with your agents on the phone, or going and shadowing them on appointments. You're not inspecting what you expect with them, or you hired the wrong people. I can't see you guys because I'm sharing a screen. Could you guys do me a favor and get in chat? Do we have any rainmakers here that have teams?
Yes, we do.
We do. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks. Good. Thanks. Okay. So let's talk about how we can double your business getting leads from listings from your sphere. Okay. We're going to start with your sphere. Ben always calls it getting your sphere in gear, and he sometimes will say spear in gear. Anyway, one of my favorite Wednesday webinars was the one I did with Zach Wendt. And if you guys heard that one, it was superb. You can go see all of our recordings. We have a YouTube channel. I'll send you the link a little later, but Zach has the best. You literally just copy and paste this. It's so good. This is what he is doing himself. He's a MAPS coach, and then he's having all of his clients do this, including Gina Ront. Gina Ront's business has just been Gina Ront formalized his business based on this from Zach, right? He sends his sphere the golden text. The market is crazy right now. Houses are selling for more than they're worth. What's the price it would cause you to sell your home without putting it on the market, Don? And then no matter what they say, no matter what their response is, I'm going out feet first, whatever they're going to say, you follow up with a phone call. And most of the time what that phone call says is, well, I get you're going out feet first, but if you were going to move, where would you move to? And you at least start going down that road and try to get a referral. Okay. So this is the golden text. This is a way to use your sphere, especially when we're getting multiple offers. And we have, and they're in your sphere's neighborhood. I want you to be really strategic about this. So if you've got, a listing coming up, and then, you can say, well, we have a listing coming up this week. I'm anticipating a lot of activity and offers. If you just had the offers, you could say, hey, we just had a listing with, 8 offers, and that means there's 7 buyers ready to go, ready to write a check to buy your house. So the market's crazy. Houses are selling for more than they're worth. What's the price it would cause you to sell? One of Ben's best scripts that he's been saying lately, if you guys have heard it, is someone will go, is this a good time to sell my house? And Ben goes, no, only if you want to sell it for over asking price. There you go. Little Ben special for you. Okay. So I love this. And I honestly can't remember which one of my webinar guests did this, but it was so, so good. So they carry a top 10 list at all times. They have their top 10 sphere of influence buyers who would write an offer on the right property. And then they have their top 10 sphere of influence sellers who would sell at the right price. They use this list for everything. They use it for circle prospecting, right? They use it at open houses. They use it in listing presentations. They they have a ton of scripts around it. And it's basically like, let me see, Sean. It's like basically, hey, Sean, this is Via from Keller Williams. How are you? You're good. I can see your head nod and your snaps. Yeah. Hey, Sean, I've got a group of buyers who are ready to go and buy a house right now in your neighborhood. I'm curious, is there a price that you'd sell your home for right now? Okay, you go into it. It's okay. I didn't prep you for the role play. I just saw your name come up on the thing. And then you could use it for that. People walk into an open house. You can use it for that. You can use it for almost everything. But what's great about it is that they're constantly in communication with their sphere, and they're checking in with these top 10 lists. So having this top 10 list is kind of a hack to get them to pay attention to the people on the list. And then they're leveraging the list to get them more business in every aspect that they do. I even think I recall them saying they were doing Facebook ads on this too, like with off-market properties and stuff. You have to be careful. In my market, we can't really do ads for off-market properties like that. We can get into hot water, but every market's different. You guys might be able to there. All right, let's talk open houses, because this is a big deal with me. I kind of built my business on open houses. In fact, this is what I'm teaching tomorrow in our Wednesday webinar. Open houses, you are probably, don't get mad at me, but you're probably not doing them right. And I love you, and I'm not trying to, but here's why. Here's why. Get into chat. Tell me, what is your goal when you walk into an open house? What is your goal? What is the outcome you're trying to get from that open house?
The lead.
Define a lead. What's a lead?
Somebody who's interested in buying.
Okay. Federico, can you unmute Federico? Are you in a place to unmute?
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect. You are absolutely correct. That is your number one outcome that you want, is to make an appointment. And very few people actually answer that right correctly. Here's the thing, guys. If you're going to go leave your family and your friends on a Saturday and a Sunday, especially on days that there's like a big game on or people are doing something really fun, you better go make an appointment, don't you think? I mean, the fact of the matter is that we all tell ourselves that our open houses are 2 or 3 hours, like 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 or something, right? And what we really need to be telling ourselves is that's an 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. affair, right? Where we're going and we're setting up, we're putting up a huge, huge amount of signs, way more than you need. Statistics overwhelmingly show you will get more traffic the more signs you have. There's a correlation. For every sign, every extra sign, you'll get extra people. So the point of it is that we all start shutting down. And then what do we do when the open house is over at 4? We throw everything in our car and we put on our music and we go home. And that's really what we want to do, right? What we have to start telling ourselves is that our workday really goes to like 6 or 7 p.m. And what makes it really a success is if we can go right from the open house straight into a listing consult or a buyer consult. That is a successful open house. And that right there, you could turn this webinar off, and that right there will change your business. If you walk into every single open house and your outcome and goal is at least one appointment, and you are laser Superman eye focused on that, this will change your game. It will change everything, and you can probably stop listening, but don't. Right? So this is why I am certain you can get 2-to-1 ratio. I am positive. If you went and got every single open house you did, you got 1 to 2 appointments. Just do the math. Let's pretend that you're in a go-getter phase because it's spring market. And let's say, you know what, for 60 days, I'm just going to go do a bunch of open houses and get a bunch of appointments. Gail Smith, one of our top agents at Place, when she was a brand new agent, did like 60 open houses in 60 days in the middle of winter. And I think she sold 50 or 60 houses on her first year of real estate. That's it. That's it. But the difference is that she walked in and she knew the outcome she wanted. She was like Superman eyes, like I want an appointment with you, right? So I'm going to tell you what I do to get appointments and how I've trained my team for years and how I've had a massive business based on open houses. So the big thing with open houses is we don't use enough signs. So we need to use a lot of signs. My team, I require it's a minimum of 10, the minimum of 10. And it's a pain in the butt to go put 10 signs out. And it's even more in a pain in the butt when you live in Seattle, because what is it doing? What is the weather like here?
It's raining.
horrible, right? And you know what else sucks? Like in the winter, it's already dark at 4. So it's dark and rainy and you have to pick them all up. Like, I get it, right? I get it. But we have to put a lot of signs out. It's just mandatory. And if you're going to spend time away from your family and your friends, you want people there. You know, you don't want to sit in an open house with 1 or 2 people, right? The other thing is that we don't focus on the right goal, which we talked about. And that goal needs to be to set an appointment. Will we get to set an appointment with everybody? Say no. You know, and in that case, we want their contact information, right? And we want to build rapport and do all the things. But make no mistake, your goal is to go right into a listing presentation or a walkthrough of some sort and a buyer consult from that open house. Remember when we talked about speed to lead? I'm on number 4 now. Remember when we talked about speed to lead? Okay, I want to talk about it a little bit. The smaller the delta between setting an appointment with a cold lead, someone you haven't met before, so that could be the internet or that could be at an open house, the faster the delta between setting the appointment and going on the appointment, the more likely they will show. As every hour and every day and every week goes by, you have a less, like a percentage chance that a lower that they will not show up for that, right? So it is really, really important to try to set that appointment for as immediately as possible as you can, right? That is how you're going to ensure success. How many times we've all experienced this, including me. Have you had a great open house on Sunday and you're all excited and then you go, okay, it's Monday, I'm going to follow up. So A, you haven't even followed up, right? So it's 24 hours later. B, you had a really great rapport with them. And then C, what happens come Monday? Do you ever hear from them again? No, but you bonded. What? I don't understand. A lot of you guys have probably heard me share this story or heard Jason Abrams share it. It's really one of the best stories in real estate, but Jason Abrams has, I think, a brilliant example about how we need to show up as real estate agents, right? And I would argue that this story I'm about to share with you is probably why Redfin's so successful. You know, as much as we want to malign Redfin, they are successful, and this is probably why. And his example is that when you walk into a store and you're looking for a pair of, you know, whatever green jeans, and you walk in and what does the person typically say when you walk in? Let's say you're walking in the Gap. There's someone up front, and what do they say to you typically?
Can I help you?
Can I help you? Karen, thank you. I think that was Karen. Is it Karen or Karen?
Me, it's Karen.
Karen, perfect. So they say, can I help you? And what do we naturally say, Karen?
No, thank you.
Yeah, isn't it weird? It's just like a hardwired in us. So we say, no, thank you. But you know, this person was persistent. We kind of liked him. We kind of bonded with him. They were really nice and sweet, right? Reminded us of someone we know. We kind of wouldn't have minded them helping us, but you know what? We're headed to the back of the store and we're going to go look for our green jeans. So we have 5 pairs of different green jeans in our arm and we're looking for the fitting room, right? So at that point, we realize we have a limited amount of time. Are we going and searching all through the busy store for this really nice gal who greeted us? Or are we searching for the next person we can see that has the keys to that fitting room?
That's right, the next person.
We are looking for the next, that person might've been nice, Karen, that we liked them at the beginning. They are not who we're looking for. Frankly, we're looking for the commodity that's going to open the door for us. I'm going to let that sink in a little bit, right? We have got to be there when our people are ready. You guys understand that we can't convince someone to buy or sell a house. That's not our job. That's not the job of marketing or sales. The job of marketing and sales and lead generation and prospecting is to simply be there when they've already made the decision. Like we don't persuade somebody to buy a product. We persuade them to work with us. Our sales cycle ends when they sign an agreement. Once they sign an agreement to work with us, either a listing or buyer agreement, I just want to be sure that we're all clear on this. Our sales cycle ends now. Now we're in transaction mode. Now it's just a matter of finding them the right house. Can we convince them to buy a house? No, we can't do that. It's just too much of an asset, right? Might be able to convince someone to like buy a pair of green jeans, probably not a house, right? So speed to lead. We have to be the person holding the keys. And most of us are showing up at open houses like the greeter. I know you guys are feeling this. Because when I had this aha, it was like someone hit me between the eyes. Some of you have to be feeling this way because we all have for years been trained to go to open houses, bond, get their contact information, and then follow up the next day. No. What we do is we close for an appointment. If we can't get an appointment, what we do is we spend the hour after the open house literally following up with each and every one of those people that registered. If you're me and my team are in place, they've already registered themselves directly onto Brivity with our open house app. And there's already been an auto plan triggered. They've already been texted and emailed, and they've already been set up on a search, right? This is why we have to have automation because most of us just won't do this on our own. We just won't, right? We're just not wired that way. All right. That was number 5, obviously. So here's the deal. Oh, sorry, let me go back. This is the script that I have used for years that I train on. This is how I really believe I probably made 7 figures at open houses. And I mean it. I believe between me and the agents on my team using this, we've made at least 7 figures. Did I tell the story, Steve, when I was doing this last time about my very first open house agent that I trained? Did I tell you guys that story?
Yes, great story.
Yeah, I'll share it again for any of you who weren't there because it's an absolutely true story. Very first, when the Via group started, it was December of 2013, right before Christmas. I hired my first agent. Her name was Isabel, and she had never done real estate before, and she had certainly never done an open house. She had just gotten her license. So it's second week in January, and we were bringing on a listing. It was going to be a really hot listing. Even back in 2014 by then. So it was going to be a hot listing even back then. Even back then, we expected maybe multiple offers. So I, was running around like a chicken with my head cut off that week. And I couldn't be there at her first open house because I have 3 kids and there was some kind of a sporting event. I don't know what it was. So all week, Isabel's like pestering me and she's bugging me about like, Via, you have to train me. I've never done an open house. You have to train me. You have to train me. And I'm like, okay, tomorrow, later. So finally it's Friday. And she literally like closes my office door. You are training me. You're not going anywhere. I need to know how to do an open house. I've got 1 Saturday and 1 Sunday. And I'm like, okay, yeah. All right. I need to train you to do an open house. I go, okay. So, so she's just staring at me with her big doe eyes and she's waiting for like the sensei to tell her how to do an open house. And, for those of you who have a team, part of the journey of becoming a leader is you have to figure out how to train what you've just done naturally, right? You don't really think about how you do what you do. So I'm like, I don't know. Do I do open houses? So I'm like, oh, okay. I go, Isabel, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get everybody to register. And every time someone asks you or makes any comment, asks you anything, doesn't matter. They show any signs of liking anything in the house. You're going to say this to them. Here's your script. Are you ready? It's very complicated and very long. So I want you to focus. And she goes, yeah. I go, okay, here's your script. Great. Would you like to meet with me after the open house to write an offer on this home? She goes, okay. I go, say it again. Great. Would you like to meet with me after the open house to write an offer on this home? I go, say it again. Would you like to meet with me after this open house to write an offer on your home again? And I made her say it like 20 times. And I would go, say it happy, say it sad, say it mad, say it again, say it again, say it again. And I made her say it like 20 times. So Saturday, goes well as far as I know. And then Sunday, my phone starts blowing up. She's calling and texting and I don't know where I was, but I was at a place where I could text, but not talk. And she's like, oh my gosh, help. I need help. And I'm like, so I finally go and excuse myself and I call her and I go, what's going on? She goes, what do I do if I have to write an offer for 2 different people on this house? I don't know what to do. How do I do that? Like, well, you oh my, you can't do that. She's a brand new agent. She didn't know. I'm like, you can't, what is happening? She ended up, we had to farm out one of those leads and she ended up, potentially writing 2 offers on that. Fun fact, she didn't get that house. We had multiple offers and she didn't win. Her first deal was the next month. She was doing an open house at a $1.2 million listing. We double ended it. She brought the buyer to that listing using that script. First deal in real estate was $1.2 million. Not amazing. And that was back, that $1.2 million house then, that's equivalent to like 1.8 now. Crazy. All right. So that is the script. That's the script. And it's not fancy. I was kidding. And it's not long. It is simply the question we should be asking everybody. Now, hopefully what you've done is you've blocked out time to meet with them. Oftentimes what'll happen is you'll use the script and they'll go, whoa, no. That's a little like, no, I'm not going to buy this house, but thank you. And then what you do is you roll right into setting a buyer consult or a listing appointment, right? Well, I find, Steve, that most people who come into my open houses are either neighbors because they want to kind of know about their house value, or they're buyers. Which one are you? And then, you kind of go into, well, perfect. Would it help you for me to come do a walkthrough and give you a pricing analysis of your home? I can guarantee you we'll sell this with multiple offers and we will have buyers for sure. So it might be worth it. You might be surprised. You might be surprised how much we can get for your house. Why don't, no obligation at all. Why don't I come over after the open house and we can just kind of check it out. Does that sound good? So whatever it looks like, you've got to close them to get on an appointment if you can. If not, then you get their contact information and you do what I call hooks and carrots. You just try to find excuses to get back to them, which I think you're all pretty good at probably, right? Oh, let me get back to you on that. Yeah, perfect. What did you say your email was? mickeymouse@mickeymouse.com. Perfect. What's the real one? And then you get their email and make sure that you're good. Okay. Let's pause for a minute. Any questions or comments or ahas? Because I've been just talking a lot. Have you guys heard all this before? Is this any of this new to you? Mindset stuff?
I'll tell you, Via. I mean, I also built my business off of open houses. Okay. And this is pre-command and all of that. And I would have pretty good follow-up. I mean, pretty successful doing that. I don't think I ever once was intentional about setting an appointment right after the open house. This is huge.
It's a game changer.
Yep, totally.
Yeah, it really is. And honestly, this right here will give you your ratio right here. There is no question you should get at least one, if not both of your deals just from this, but we're going to give you more stuff now. Okay. All right. Prospecting, everyone's favorite. No. Okay. Circle prospecting, we've touched on it a little bit. You can use your top 10 buyer, top 10 seller. You can use the golden script. You can use, we're going to go into direct mail. There's a golden letter too. What canceled? Are you guys, do you have canceled and expireds right now? For sales by owners, yeah, but no one has forget canceled and expireds right now, although they'll come back. Point is, I don't like cold calling. I just don't like it. It's not fun for me, but I do not mind circle prospecting cold calling. I have found that the neighbors are genuinely interested. For some reason, I don't mind door knocking around a listing and I don't mind cold calling. And I'm someone when it comes to this, because the scripts are super simple. The scripts are basically like, let me pick on someone else. I have this like strip of people here. I'm going to pick on Lydia. The script is something like, hey, Lydia, this is Via Williams of Keller Williams. And you might have noticed my sign up in your neighbor's yard. Wanted to let you know that we sold it with 8 offers for substantially above asking price. Wondering for the right price, if you guys would consider selling right now, or if you've talked about it. You just go into it, right? People are very interested to ask you a lot of questions. Does anyone here circle prospect and do those calls or door knocks? I can't see you all. You'll have to probably go and chat.
They do.
Yeah, Dan, very few. Yeah, well, okay, fair enough. I think you guys ought to consider doing it if you haven't done it. This is the market to do it in, because remember, the name of the game right now is to leverage those precious listings. No one is getting enough listings right now. Every single one of those can get you so much more business, and they can really, really help with your circle prospecting. Internet. So I'm reluctant to, I don't want to go through a whole internet class. I mean, I'll let Ben and Bob do that. But I have to tell you, I have been using online leads from the very, very early days, from 2007 and 8 even, house value days, right? So I have a lot of experience as just, an agent doing really well with these. And there's one rule and one rule only, and it's speed to lead. And if I sound like a broken record, it's because I am. Nothing matters as much as speed to lead. Have you all seen the lead response management study? And it shows the drop off that happens after 5 minutes. So after 5 minutes, basically your odds of getting a hold of someone plummets like 70 or 80%. The new statistics and data are showing it's actually 120 seconds. Anyone know the reason for that? No. The reason for that is
Because
that,
we live in an immediate gratification society.
yeah,
So within that 120 seconds, they have already moved on to the next thing, the next thought, the next focus.
yes, exactly. And what's really happening is they've gone to the next app on their phone or their next site, or they've moved on. So in other words, they're off the phone or they're off the site they were on because of that, right? Now, sometimes within 5 minutes, you can catch them if they're getting trapped in your mousetrap and they're looking at, listings and everything you're doing. So 5 minutes, you still have a pretty good chance. But after 5 minutes, it just plummets. And so speed to lead is the most important thing you can do. So you can't do this on your own. Let's just play this out for a minute. Let's pretend you get 1 lead a day online, right? You get 1 lead a day. So that sounds fine. You're like, Via, I can manage that. I don't really need a lot of tech about that. That's, 5 listings a week. And let's just say work weekdays because it's easier math. And, that's 20 leads a month, 40 after 2 months, 60 after 3 months. And oh wait, out of all those 60 leads now, every single one of them's in a different life cycle and has different follow-up, right? The fact of the matter is you can't make this not automated. So what I have always done, and I still do it with my team leaders, Steve, is I've always done a pipeline management where we label them A123, B123, C123. A's are 0 to 30 days. A's are now. Any lead, anyone in there, they're ready to go now. B is, 30 to 90-ish days. The way I define a B is there's a hard stop, like they have a lease or, they're relocating here where it may not be exactly 90 days, but it's somewhere in the next few months, we have kind of a hard date. So they're moving into position to buy or sell. And then anything C is just a nurture, right? So what I try to train my agents and my team leaders as well with their leads is to learn how many A's they need and then to double that and have double the amount of B's. And then C's are unlimited. C's are automated. A's and B's live a little bit more in manual territory. So think about it that way. You can have unlimited C's and nurtures, and they're just getting your market reports and your listing alerts, right? Maybe newsletters, if you're doing newsletters, you don't probably have to do newsletters, right? A's and B's should still be getting that, but now what's happening on A's and B's, you should be getting a lot of prompts, a lot of to-dos or tasked prompts to manually start following up. You should be looking on the hot sheets and looking for houses for them, right? They should be top of mind, right? So in a market like this, unfortunately, what's happening is, and the reason we're all a little fried, is that we need a lot of A buyers right now, don't we? We need more than normal because it's taking like 4 or 5 offers, depending, sometimes more to get them into a house, right? So that's a little bit stressful. You have to have automation to help you. It's really a lot to manage on your own. So we need to automate them on market reports and e-alerts. That's really it. You can not even worry about anything else. Worry about it when things slow down in December. Maybe you can get fancy and do a newsletter template. For now, I would just say throw them on market reports, throw them on e-alerts. That's the best way. It's what we all do. I'm going to skip some of this here, but ZTR, Zillow's changing, man. Boy, is Zillow changing. I'm going to skip some of this. Here's what I will say about your online advertising though. There we go. What I will say is that be sure that you guys have really thought out calls to actions on your ads. If you're paying for ads on Facebook, and Command's great when you go through Command to do it. I've really enjoyed my Command. We are doing a lot of experimentation where we'll run like 3 or 4 ads, and each one of them has a different call to action, right? But think about what you want out of it. Do you want them to go to your home valuation site, right? Are you showcasing a listing? If you're showcasing a listing, that's going to be, buyer leads. Try to get seller leads. So, are they going to your home valuation site? Are they getting or signing up to get a market report? What are they doing? Are you somehow promoting your would sell and would buy lists, right? Your top 10 lists, whatever it is. Think about what you're promoting and what your call to action is, because you want to be sure there's a mousetrap there, is what I'm trying to say. If you just send them to your website, it's like kind of like a billboard in the desert. But if it's like, click here to get, again, I run brokerages, so it might be top 10 things that they don't teach you in real estate school. Click here. Now they have to register to get information. In fact, if all of you guys get on Ben Kinney agent training right now, you get on Ben Kinney agent training, and you don't have to do it the second. But that's effectively our mousetrap. It's a Linktree. I mean, the guys hate me right now, the Brivity guys, because they're like itching to build me this beautiful, gorgeous website. And I'm like, we're just too busy. So we will have a beautiful website. You know what? It's Linktree. You can set that up in 5 minutes. You buy a URL on GoDaddy, and Steve can show you. I know he can show you because he did it with a Zoom room, right? And you just forward it. It's just very easy. So think about the mousetrap that you're building, right? Think about providing value and not spamming them. You can also do this, you can do this with door hangers. You could do this with open houses, click here to see my list of off-market properties. Again, we can't really do that in our market, but some markets can. And off-market properties for you could be coming soon. We're not allowed to do coming soons, if you can believe it. All right. Okay. Oh, question? No? Okay. All right. I'm trying to get through the content so we can get to Q&A here. Oh, sorry. And
I do actually have a question, if you don't mind.
yeah, of course.
How do you alleviate the anxiety coming from the seller leads who are super anxious about where are we going to go in the market, where it's extremely hard to win these bidding wars, and where you just know these sellers will have nowhere to go? I mean, submitting habit clause on a buyer end is really no longer an option. Sellers can still sort of get away with it, but it's really, I mean, I'm losing a lot of the seller leads because they have nowhere to go, and it's just too stressful for them, especially if they have kids, to want to sell knowing they will have nowhere to go.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the issue right now, right? All of us around the country are experiencing that same issue. And that's partly what I'm trying to address today. One of the best things we can do to get seller leads is to try to find our buyers' homes, right? And so a lot of what we're going over today is how to get you inventory, right? Yes, it's how to get a 2-to-1 ratio on your listings, but it's also how to get you inventory, right? Because a lot of these techniques are going to probably get you off markets. We talked about the top 10 seller and top 10 buyers. That's really what that exists for, right? Because really what you're doing is you're saying, every time you have 7 or 8 offers, you have buyers ready to buy a home. Let's leverage that. And by the way, our seller is one of them, I've lost 3 listings this year, you guys, because other real estate agents or investors have written letters and sent them to my sellers offering to buy their house off market. And I swore it wouldn't work. I thought there's no way a seller would sell off market right now, because I know that they won't get as much. They won't get multiple offers. They won't get a bidding war. 3 of them took them. 3 of them took them. And I'll tell you what, I learned my lesson. I got schooled, because they do not just care about money. Many of our sellers will sell their house off market. I've been beat 3 times by that. So I know it's true. So we have to work harder. We can't just wait for things to come on the market anymore. Like, that's what I'm teaching you today, right? This is hard work. It's also very lucrative work and it's worth it, right? It's really, really worth it. And that's why I'm pressing so hard on getting your tech automated, because it is hard work, and you are going to be doing a little bit more, the ones in here that are going to get up to 7 figures are going to do the work. I mean, there's just no shortcut. So I don't know how to answer that specifically, other than I think all of the issues that we're struggling are kind of wrapped into what we're going into with the class today. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm going to take that as a yep. Does your listing sign have a lead capture mousetrap on it? Is it sending someone somewhere? Can they text? Is there a QR code? Whatever it is, be sure that you're using your sign correctly. Be sure that you're leveraging your sign. Again, we're talking about how to get a 2-to-1 ratio. Fun fact, you guys have Keller Mortgage there, right? It is an 11% higher response rate if you say special financing available. The Keller Mortgage research guys told me so. So, consider that, right? Really think about your sign. Most of us have too much on our signs. Actually, I think there's too much on this one. This isn't a picture of my sign, it's a picture of their old. This isn't what their new ones look like either. But you can see there's a text capture. It's still pretty darn clean. There's a phone number, and there's really a website, and that's it. Does someone have a question? No. All right, direct mail. I want to go into the golden letter, and then we'll wrap for as many questions as you want. We can talk about what we were just talking about if you want to. But Gina Ront, who is an awesome agent in Austin, Texas. You should have him come, Steve, if you haven't yet. He's an incredible agent, and his wife, yeah, they're great. So Zach Wendt coaches Jean, and Zach is the one who kind of told me about the golden text and the golden letter. So Gina Ront has created an entire system and machine around this now, right? They just they're sending like 10, 20,000 of these now. They kind of work their way up, and they just have a system, right? So the numbers are fascinating. I'm going to skip that one right there, and I'll come back to that though. Oh, sorry, hold on. Okay. So can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. The golden letter, here's what their numbers are. And I believe these are Gina Ront's numbers. Zach Wendt's the one that shared these numbers on one of our webinar. For every 500 letters, they get 7 to 8 calls, and they get 1 listing. So it's a 500-to-1 ratio. That is based on a 6% or more turn in a neighborhood. Okay. So you have to do your math on that. And Steve, maybe you can walk them. Maybe that's another good morning call, to have someone come on that's really good at farming, like Tiffany Fikes or someone who can talk about how to do the calculations for turn. She'd be a really good one. I'm happy to introduce you. She's amazing.
Great.
Yeah. So rules for the golden letter. Number 1, it's written with a buyer in mind, like real buyers in mind, buyer or buyers. Number 2, it has to be handwritten. Now, this is the big find that Zach told us about. Not a font, like an actual handwritten service. There's services that do this. So I think he said the Arants are using junior high kids. I don't know. But he was telling me, I've never heard of this. Have you guys ever heard of this? Handwritten and ballpoint marketing. And handwritten is written with a Y. Sky, you're nodding. Yeah. I haven't used them. So are you using them?
I'm not personally using them. We had a lot of people in Colorado who love them. They said they're great. I don't mind handwriting. I have atrocious handwriting, but I'm the same believer. It's got to be handwritten.
Yeah, well, and we're talking scale. Like, I mean, they're sending thousands. Like, I don't think it's physically possible for one person to do it, right? They're finding it has to be a real stamp, right? I mean, so this is a manual process, right? And the message is very simple. So this is the letter that pretty much Jean is sending everywhere. Dear Mary Brown, would you be interested in selling your home at 210 Cartwheel Bend, whatever, to a client of mine? If so, please call me. What I'm told is that, and it's all in the webinar I did, is that it goes to a voicemail. So it's an automatic voicemail, because it was just too hard for them to keep track. And on the voicemail, there's instructions, basically, hey, thanks for calling, we're out. But if you're calling in response to our letter, can you let us know, your name and your address? And now they have their phone number too, right? And so they call them right back, and then you saw the formula. So Jean's killing it with these. Zach Wendt is coaching people around the nation to do this. Yes, direct mail is not cheap. It's a little more intensive. This isn't for everybody, but I did want to share it, right? Because to me, we're still leveraging our listings, because most of the time we're getting a lot of our buyers from these open houses that we're doing, right? And so all of this goes hand in hand. I just want you to keep this in mind. All we're trying to do right now is to leverage your listings. The other reason that I kept this in here, even though this is a class on leveraging listings, is, do you think it's more powerful if you have one listing and then two and then three listings in a neighborhood, then they're getting this letter? Do you think that's more powerful? I do. So that's what Gene's doing, right? So they're seeing his signs and then they're getting the letter. Think about that. That is way more powerful. There is a credibility there, right? That you just don't have if they've never heard of you, right? All of a sudden they see your sign popping up, and maybe they're seeing the 8x8 postcards, and then they get this letter. And it's handwritten. It feels real. It feels real. I should have said that what's handwritten, I believe it's the envelopes that are handwritten. I should have said that earlier, not the entire letter, as you guys can see here. So yeah. Any questions or comments on that? Pretty cool, huh?
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap up with content and we'll go into Q&A, but I do want to briefly go back to this. Because I just want to go back to something I said about call to action. What do you notice this is beautiful Jacqueline Smith, who is amazing. She's our Vancouver, Washington, and Portland place expansion partner. She's someone who came in at like 500,000 GCI, and I think she hit like 3 million last year. She's just incredible woman. But what do you notice on this? Text BK open, right, to 59559. And on the next one, here we go. There's another call to action, and it says your neighbor's house just sold, which means your equity has changed. We are going after seller leads with these, right? Don't forget to direct people to your home valuation sites as well. Whatever your home valuation sites, of course, Brivity has them, but I'm biased. Whatever your home valuation site, I want you to think about what mousetrap you're sending them to, right? So if you're going to have someone text, what's your automated lead flow, right? How are they, I just want you to think about all that, right? Like how it's going to work in advance. So don't just send a just listed postcard and expect someone to see your picture, see your pretty pictures and call you. It's just a waste of money. You have to direct them with a call to action to some kind of an action. So in fact, I'll go off script a little bit. Do you want to, I'll show you something. Didn't plan this, but because I'm doing this in real time, this is how I'm planning. Here we go. This is how I'm planning a personal, I'll show you for my assistant. This is exactly what it looks like. It is not pretty. It's not sexy, but this is how we're doing it for upcoming listings. Because by the way, do we have to prep way more purposely in advance with the listing cycles we're in? We have to have everything ready ahead of time now, right? And we have to maximize that one precious weekend we're going to have before it sells, right? With multiple offers, most likely. So we have to be very organized now, much more organized than normal. So here's the thing. How I sent it to her is, you can see it here, is 8x8. So we're going to do a bunch of 8x8s, right? And I'm very specific. This is the first one's going to be just listed. The call to action is going to send them to the Brivity individual property website, and it's going to invite them to the open house. 2 calls to actions. Okay. The second one, pending with multiple offers, the call to action is going to be direct response. I want them to contact us, right? And it's going to be a direct response. Have Vija come give you a pricing and home prep analysis, right? So it's also going to have our home valuation site on there as a secondary backup per call to action. Number 3, we have buyers. Call to action is going to be another direct response request for me to come do a CMA, and then it's the home valuation site as well. The 4th is going to be market stats. These are all in advance. I have to do them in advance now. Like we have to be super, super organized. Market stats, whatever it is. So you can see each one of these is very, very thought out. And it's sending them where I want to send them to. Does that make sense? So help me, I will get 2 deals for every single listing that I'm bringing on between now and the end of the year, because there's just not as many anymore, right? Let me see if I had anything left. And then I think,
Hey, Via, will you share those lists with me so I can share with everybody as well?
Yeah.
Great.
yeah, for sure. We're good. We're good on content. I just wanted to check that. So I would love to hear kind of what's going through your head right now. You know, what your thoughts are. If this is like, you know, more of the same, if you learned something today, if your mindset, more importantly, I hope did I shift your mindset a little bit on some of this?
I think you definitely did. Debbie Orr, what do you think? What say you, Debbie Orr?
The takeaway is the purposefulness of it, that Via is entirely purposeful and focused on outcomes. And I love the demonstration of you can't do one thing and have massive results. You have to do many things purposefully. Magnificent.
I have a question about the postcards. It says that, I don't know, text this number. How do you get that?
Now, again, I'm biased because we own a company called Quickly. It's KWKLY.
Okay.
So, you know, admittedly, I only know my own stuff, right? Ben Kinney Company's tech is what we all use, and it's phenomenal. I had a new build, we call them new construction, but I had a new build flat, we would call it, so a neighborhood in Redmond, Washington, and it was like an 18-month build out, and it was 6 homes, and they averaged, $1.5 million each. The only thing I had on the big sign, I mean, I remember back in the day, you would have had renderings, and also the only thing I had on the sign, it was a big hand holding a phone, and it said text for more information. That was the only thing on the sign for 18 months. So that's how we got a lot of our leads, and once they text for more information, you have their cell phone numbers.
Right, but I mean, I'm talking about the postcards where it says, if you want to know the valuation of your home.
Oh, the actual postcards, Brivity Marketer. It's all Brivity. I mean, I don't mean to, it's just what we use, right? So it's all, everything you see me do. If you're interested in that, it works really well with Command too. If you are interested in that, you can get on that Ben Kinney agent training, and there is a place to sign up to learn more about Brivity. And Stephen, Bob Stewart would probably love to come teach you guys a class. He's really, really great at he's way better than me. I'm in it. I'm doing this stuff, I'm doing this stuff, and I'm interviewing people all the time, and I'm coaching. I mean, I have 1,650 agents in our network plus recruiting or whatever. I am in the trenches on this stuff, right? Bob is more of a presenter, Bob's an actual professional presenter. So
yeah, I think I met Bob at family reunion. Is that possible? Like at the booth? Yeah, probably.
For sure. Yeah. This is going through your heads.
Hey, Via, I think one of my big takeaways from this, and I would say for agents that are kind of still solo agents building their businesses, is how purposeful and how specific you were about your systems, right? And it's something that we talk about a lot is, okay, let's not think about how you do things. Let's think about how you wish you could do things, right? Mm-hmm. Or how you wish things could be done. And then let's build a system so that it works that way, right? Mm-hmm. Let's find the technology. Let's find a tool that can do that, right? And then what would that look like? And I think the other big aha I had for those of you with teams on this call is if you're bringing other agents into your world, these are the kind of things that you need to have already set up for them, because that's your value proposition, right? Like the fact that an agent can just kind of plug into all of these things. You've given us many examples already of agents who have kind of joined Place or joined the Ben Kinney Company through your expansion network and went from $500,000 to 3 million GCI, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, that agent was a great agent by any metric, right? Any agent who's bringing in $500,000 a year in GCI is probably a top agent in their area, right? And yet there was so much more potential there because they probably didn't have a lot of these systems set up in place, right? They probably weren't using a lot of these types of tools and systems for things. And so as a rainmaker, as a team, or an agent leading a team, that's a massive amount of value that you can bring to another agent's business. I loved that.
Yeah, can we talk, let's stay on that a bit. Thank you, Dan. Rainmakers who are here. I have a couple things for you. Number one, you could set up an entire open house system in 2 hours. If you just focus yourself and turn your phone off and sat down and went, all right, what do I want the first text to say? All right, what do I want? You know, it's not hard. Like, I want to give you hope. Like, it's not hard. You can literally set that off and you're off to the races, right? And again, on Brivity, we have a mechanism, we have an open house mechanism where I can literally have you sign in on Brivity at the open house, and you're signing right into my CRM, and it's clicking right into an auto plan. You can do all of that in a couple hours, right? That's the good news I have for you. But the other thing is, Rainmakers, if you're really, really good, if you're just a deal maker and you're really good at sourcing deals and you're an amazing salesperson, that's okay. Hire someone to do this. You don't have to be the one to do it, right? So what Dan said is absolutely true. You have to be providing this for your team. You have to be providing leads to your team. And the way you should do that is by bringing listings on. And if you do nothing else but bring listings on and use that, remember the wheel, the orange wheel that I showed you, use listings as the cog in that wheel, just like I taught you. You'll have a director of operations or a really, really solid executive assistant can come in and do everything I talked about. It's not rocket science. It feels overwhelming, and it's not. And then one day, then all the plates are spinning. You're going to go, hey, Via talked about a letter. I might try it. You know what I mean? This isn't simultaneous, it's sequential. So, you know, pick one thing you learned today. And for a lot of you, it's going to be just using that script at the open house and just getting a little bit of an open house process. But pick one thing and use it. Take the slide deck, check in with the slide deck, check in with your accountability partner, with Steve and Dan, you know, whatever it is, and then build on it. Build on it. Don't get overwhelmed, right? There's a lot here. Pick the thing that jumped out at you most, start that, and then build on it, you know, either with your teams or as individuals. Thank you, Dan. That was good.
Via, I have one
Love
quick
that. Love that.
for you. What if you've just sort of naturally gone into being as a solo agent, more of a buyer broker, but you want to get into listings? And the listings you've had in the past have always been either from your past clients or from personal referrals, and that pool has dried up. How would you suggest making such a big change? Because I still do lead gen, but once again, that's focused on buyers, because I just feel like I have a blank palette to make that switch.
How long have you been doing real estate, Lisa?
Well, the first 10 years was part-time because I'd gotten divorced and my sole focus was on my young daughter. And that was number one. And then I would say the last 8 years, you know, I started to focus more on full-time. But keep in mind, when I started, there was really no technology. Nobody discussed metrics. I was with other agencies like Ravis, Sotheby International, and there is no training, you know, and when you ask questions, hand close to chest, nobody gives away anything. It's only until I came to Keller Williams after all these years that it said, wow, there's a system, there are metrics, there are things you track. And it's like, I feel like an absolute dinosaur.
Well, okay, good. But we have a good foundation for you because you've been in business a long time. So the first domino for you is to recreate your database and your past clients the best you can, because they are all selling with someone, and it may not be you, based on what I'm hearing, right? Because if you have that many years of buyers.
Yeah, it sounds strange, but so many have done a mass exodus out of Connecticut, literally. I had them, then sold their homes, and they were moving away.
Oh, so they're already, okay, I hear you. So you've already sold them. Okay. Are you getting appointments and not converting the appointments, or are you just not getting the at-bats?
Well, I'll be honest, I haven't gone out and tried for listings because I feel like I'm tripping over my feet mentally and intellectually on how to grasp it.
So, you know, there's a front end and there's a back end. So the front end is getting appointments and the back end is converting at an appointment. That's how I kind of call it a front end conversion challenge or a back end conversion challenge, right? Front end conversion challenges are the hardest. Getting the appointments the hardest, right? Any of you guys are good at getting a bunch of appointments and you're not converting, Dan and Steve can help you. That is easy, right? If you are wired to get a bunch of appointments and set them up, you're great. Don't get discouraged if you're not converting. Now, if you're not getting the appointments, that's just a numbers game. You know, that's just when you have to get intentional. I would say, Lisa, pick one of the things you heard today, you know, whatever it is, like the golden text might be good, since you probably do have a good sphere and database, whatever it is, and, you know, see if you can't get yourself some at bats, taking your next listing, however you get it, and leveraging the heck out of it. Listings beget listings, like we just talked about, right? So door knocking, talking to the neighbors, you know, making sure at open houses, you're focused on the neighbors more than you are buyers. You probably have been focused on buyers at open houses, but focusing on the neighbors and sellers at open houses, right? You know, starting to ask for sellers on your marketing. Like when you send postcards or you do online ads, you actually have to ask for sellers and do calls to actions that are seller generated, right? I've had a lot of guests on my podcast say that once they started asking for sellers, their whole business changed. They just had to ask the right question, you know? So if you kind of walk into and look at what you're doing and just change your scripts and change your calls to action a little bit to be focused on sellers, and you get one, all it takes is one, then you can leverage that one to get more business. That's where my head goes. I don't know if Dan, Steve, or anyone has anything to add, but.
Can you use anything from your sales as a buyer agent to promote, to try to get listings, or?
Oh, yeah. I mean, what I've learned, and I don't know how you guys feel, I've learned that the general public, when we say we've sold 10 homes, they don't distinguish whether we're the listing agent or the buyer's agent. They just don't have that level of, we think hard about it. Like we think, oh, I didn't list them, I was just the buy side, but that's not how the consumer thinks. They just think you sold 10 homes,
Yeah,
right?
I
So
ran
absolutely, yeah, we should absolutely be promoting that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Anything else?
We
Anyone
had
else?
I had a couple people text me via is it possible for you to make the slides that you used available
Yeah.
for everybody?
Yeah.
All right, or like either maybe send them to Steve or I and we can get them sent out to everybody else.
I will.
If you want to drop them in the chat as a download.
Yep, I'll make a, wait 2 seconds here. I will, yeah, I'll put it in chat and like, give me 2 seconds here.
No worries. And then we had another question in the chat earlier about somebody was asking what you're using or what the team uses for circle prospecting as far as actually getting the numbers, making those phone calls.
Yeah, you know, phone calls are getting harder, guys, with the do not call list. And so just be really, really careful. I wouldn't want you leaving here thinking that it's getting harder and harder. Our teams all use Mojo, and the sources can vary, you know, cold directory and different things. Door knocking is probably safer nowadays, which sounds weird that people are more bothered by a phone call than showing up in their house. But yeah, I think cold directory, and then we have a couple data scrapers. Like we have a pretty sophisticated backend system, so we do have some proprietary stuff. But yeah, you know, there's white pages. I hear people say a lot. Cold directory, come join place and you'll get more. That's my answer.
Nice. All right. Any other questions for Via while we have her? Big opportunity here. Let's see, just unmute yourself so we don't all just start talking at once. We can kind of focus on who's got a question, or raise your hand or something along those lines. Any last questions?
Hi, Via. How are you?
Hi,
all right. Michael Trumba.
I want to thank you for today. It was amazing. I learned more in 1 hour. And even the last time you were here, it's just amazing. So I really appreciate your time. Yeah, for sure. So I love the idea of the mousetrap, build a better mousetrap and a guide. We're starting to do a little bit about that, you know, starting to work on that. We have a follow-up boss. We're getting our lead conversions. We have an open house. We have an open house coming up on one of our new listings. We're just doing a QR code for people to sign in. They capture data, goes in there, and we're putting them on an action plan from follow-up boss. So starting to get the hang of that, but you just took it to another 5 different levels. What is place? Can you tell me, is it, so somebody that joins place, they take the operations of it and help your business grow through operations?
Yeah. I mean, that's a little oversimplified, and I can connect you with, with someone to talk to, but I think place is the future of real estate. And I don't say that because I work for Ben. I didn't share my story, but in a nutshell, I won't, bore you with my whole story, but in a nutshell, I had been a real estate agent for 17 years, second generation real estate agent. I was at like a local brand, regional brand. And then I came to Keller Williams the end of 2010. And I met Ben in 2012. And the year I met Ben, I did 9.6 million in volume. And through his coaching and mentoring, and then we became close friends. But I went to 70 million in 4 years. It was very, very fast. And that 70 million now would be like 110 million to just like, because that was in 2015, 16, 17. And so the team got really big. We peaked out at about 1.75 million in GCI. And I was miserable. I wasn't happy. I didn't like it. I was leadership lonely. I felt alone on an island. And so I started talking with Ben about, by then he was a very close friend of the family as well. And so I was just getting life advice from him. He was my OP that whole time. And that led, next thing I don't know, then next thing I know, I'm working for him. That's how those conversations went. But overnight, I went from a small team to, running at the time 6 brokerages and 1,250 agents. And now we have 8 brokerages and 1,650 agents. We're growing like wildfire. The only reason I'm sharing all that is because I came and really interrupted my career, switched course on my career. It was a very promising, real estate sales career because of how excited I was about what, Ben, and I knew that at that time, Chris was going to be involved. Ben and Chris were building, and what they're building is place, and it's incredible. And I've spoken on Inman about it. The future of real estate is teams, and we all need help. We need help. We need a tribe. We need people that we can have these discussions with all the time, like that we can go deep and say, okay, how did you trigger that one auto plan at the open house? And then, what did you change on that initial text to get triple your response rate? We need to have people that we're having those conversations with, right? We need to have people that we're in friendly competition with that are pushing us. We need to have CFOs looking at our stuff. We need to have coaching with people like Ben. My life would be different if I didn't have so much coaching with Ben. That's what place is. So place is like your business partner. It's expansion, and we're branding it as place now that Ben and Chris have merged, right? That's the new brand name is place, but it's more than expansion, right? It's the future of it. We all need that. I think we all need a back-end business systems, resources. It's like you hire a team and they log on and they can download an editable listing presentation for you, that's branded to your team, right? It's all done for you. All the things you wish you could do, it's done for you. That's what place is. So I don't want to sell it. I'm reluctant to, I don't want to sound, like I'm on a selling from the pulpit, so to speak, but I do feel passionately about it. It's why I'm here, and Dan and Steve, our OPs love us. Every single one of our team is tripled, quadrupled. We grow market centers because we're a pretty big agent count model, right? We keep our agents in really good productivity, and we're just great partners. All of our EPs are super involved in their market centers because Ben and I, because we own them. And so we advocate that, right? So we're really great players in the sandbox as well. So reach out to me. I can put my cell phone, you can text me.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Well, let me know, you guys, and I'm an open book, and I'm available. I'm a good texter if you think about something else. And I just want to take a moment, and I sincerely mean this, to thank Steve and Dan, not only, you know, for inviting me to get to speak and share what I know with you. They spend an hour with my team leaders, and they are incredible, incredible leaders, you guys. I say no to many teaching and speaking opportunities, and I am here because of Steve and Dan. They in the short period of time I've known them, they have given me so much value already. And I see what they're doing in your market centers, and the engagement, they're doing a stunning job. You're really in probably some of the best market centers in the US. And I mean that. I don't say things that I don't mean. So yeah, huge shout out to them.
All right, well, thank you, Via. If nobody else has any questions, we will let Via move on to what I'm sure she has her next appointment right after this at 12:30.
I have a Zoom in 5 minutes with that desk in Florida.
Exactly. So yeah, thank you, Via. Let's show her some appreciation, everybody. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Via. It was incredible, and I'm sure we'll be in touch again soon. All right.
Thank you.